Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Hallyujuku, a podcast about East Asian pop culture from a couple of guys from the East Coast of the United States. I'm Petey Rave, your man on the right, on your left, my right, whatever the orientation if you're watching. Otherwise, I'm just in your ears. Here with me is my tag team partner, my partner in crime. My right-hand man to my left-hand side, Brandon Cooper, a.k.a. King Kaz. What up, Kaz? How you doing, Kaz?
What's up, man? I'm shopping for hats. No. How you doing?
Yes, we're here. We're here to talk about East Asian pop culture. We're chilling. So we start off talking about what's new. One thing we'll talk about what's new. We have an Instagram now. We have an Instagram. You kind of like you put.
Yo, Google, what's my Instagram? She's not going to respond to that.
No. You put the idea into my head, and I knew it was a good idea. And I finally put together for us an Instagram. We only have a couple of things on there, including our discussion of the whole super group that SM is putting together. It's, Super M, with members of Shiny, EXO, and NCT. So it's up there. It's
2 months to go.
Yeah. It's also on our YouTube, but if you want to check it out on our Instagram, it's on the IGTV there, hopefully for people to discover. I also put a random meme that I put together involving a little bit too much work, or maybe just enough work, in After Effects to make a silly meme about the kid from one of the groups that we're going to be discussing early in this episode, the BOYZ, at the Idol Olympics or Idol Athletic Championships. It was a fun meme. I'm looking forward. I think we're going to do fun things. We're going to have more stuff on there. Probably like more, like I would say, like low-key, maybe short form content, YouTuber quote unquote content, kind of like that, more social media stuff, maybe including some hauls, wherever we go to shows, we might do some things on the stories.
My whole new personal brand thing is to get other people to work on their personal brand, and it's working, and I love it. Like, so, getting all my friends to just stop retweeting things and actually like crafting, using social media platforms as content platforms.
Yeah. So
fucking if 15-year-old white girls could have figured this out, fucking a bunch of 30-year-old internet content creators can figure it out too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll do that. It's going to be hopefully from both of us, we're going to have some content up there as we go along. Because we live in different parts of the country, so it'd be cool to like if we're also like exploring our local area for like East Asian things or K-pop stores or food and things like that. So we'll look forward to that. But that being said, speaking of the BOYZ, we're going to talk about what's new, what's got our attention since we last gathered. Kaz, what's new?
Yeah, what's up, man? So new for me this week is, which is something I want to talk to you about. Well, anyway, so it might as well can live live on the podcast. I want, since I've been going to the gym a lot more. I'm a music guy in the gym. I got my headphones in. I'm pumping some jams. Right now, I've been just utilizing YouTube.
Yeah.
And just playing whatever, which is where a couple of these songs popped up for me. But what I want to do is I finally want to take the dive, go into Spotify, and make some pretty good quintessential K-pop themed workout tracks. Just dependent on for what you're doing. And I'm going to need PD's help. And this is something maybe we can put out through Instagram and other mediums for you guys to check out and have access to. But one of those songs for me that ended up coming up, as it was just, I just kind of left it on random shuffle, so it would just kind of play different videos. And this one by the BOYZ came up, and I thought it wasn't bad. It has that thing that me and PD always talk about, where it's kind of just like generic K-pop, but like it fit in between Monster X and BTS, which played like before and right after it, and I thought it fit in the middle of those kind of songs pretty well in a gym mix, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty tight track. It's a nice kind of like bog standard like jammable K-pop boy band track. It probably won't like solidify like say making me think, oh man, I gotta go to the BOYZ for like my boy band stuff, but it's another good one of those. It's kind of borrowing a little bit of lineage, a little bit of verbiage from some games journalism. It's one of those, but it's a good one of those, like but yeah, I think it's a quality track. It's definitely a good addition. I think if it shuffles into your playlist, you're not going to be like, nah, get rid of this. You'd be like, oh, this is a solid track.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's definitely worth checking out. I think the BOYZ are doing pretty good stuff in that, like, still trying to get you used to the visuals and who they are, kind of K-pop group. So I think it's if you're still exploring, the BOYZ is worth checking out.
Yes.
So moving on from there, if you already have a stan like I do, which my current one happens to be Red Velvet, and then I didn't realize PD had this song in there. So this song came up for me as well while I was in the gym, and I was like, damn, sounds familiar. So I had to take my phone out of my pocket. I was like, that's why it sounds familiar. It's fucking Red Velvet. This is a song called Oompa Oompa by Red Velvet.
Yes.
I thought it's fun. It's definitely kind of silly. Very definitely summery.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to get the last bits of that summer jam out before we get into the like winter ballads and the relationship songs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in Korea's been in Balladville already throughout this whole summer. They're trying to break break down that wall, that brick wall of sad ballads that the Korean charts have constructed, and they're doing a solid job. I think this is a fun track. This is a good energy track. It doesn't do a lot of things out of this world, but it does everything solid. It's one of those things where it's like when they experiment with the Red Velvet sound, it could be hit or miss, with some big hits and big misses. But when they kind of like go back into like the safety zone, the DDP yoga safety zone, they are generally always solid. And I mean, you don't always want to like discourage experimentation or trying things out, but this is just another solid Red Velvet track, another solid peppy, perky Red Velvet track, and it was a fun video to match.
Yeah, it's just good. I don't know. I'm down for the end of summer kind of jams, putting that out. So this last track from me, I ended up doing a real deep dive because me and PD have talked about this person a lot in the history of this show. So if you are familiar with Monster X, Monster X had a build-up reality show into what Monster X would be. It was a contestant show. They had all these different trainees, some who had been in the game for a long time, some who weren't.
Yeah. Which we covered.
Me and PD,
go back,
yeah, we covered because we really got into it. I actually enjoyed that the style that they went with for the show, because it wasn't super duper reality TV, even though it kind of was, but it kind of more focused on performance and the qualities that you want in a boy group. So it made it kind of more interesting to pay attention to, because it was less about drama and it was literally about like who's gonna fit well. And one of the people me and Petey gravitated towards was a guy by the name of Shopgun, or #gun. And we really kind of liked his flavor going into what would be Monster X. Now, since then, we know the makeup of Monster X as it is. Their star is ever growing, which I enjoy, and I think PD enjoys as well. Yeah. And we were always like, we think Shopgun could stand on his own. We definitely think he could do his own solo projects in hip hop, because hip hop was having kind of a really big pickup at that time. But he kind of went. He kind of came out and was still kind of this very hype, peppy rapper. But his last few tracks have been more like melancholy, kind of downtrodden. But I enjoy the fuck out of it for some reason. And this kind of persona he's crafted. So this is Shopgun's Lord, and I built it up a lot because I enjoyed the fuck out of it. I enjoyed kind of the theatrics of it. I enjoyed the performance of it or whatever, because I really looked at it as like this very artistic thing. And maybe I'm buying in too much because I like Shopgun, but I kind of like this. I like him with the kind of little scruff goatee and the beard, and it makes him look so much older than like what he did like 3 years ago. Like he looks like he's just lived a life and has come out on the other side of it. Yeah. So it makes it so much more believable when he's giving you these really deep tones in this song, and it's not strictly rapping not strictly singing. I don't know. I went on a fucking journey with this song, and I just enjoyed the fuck out of it.
Yeah, I think it definitely has some of the elements that I think you see in some facets of hip hop nowadays, with like this emotional like feel to it, with Shopgun. And yeah, like we said, we had that journey with him and Monsta X and Who's Next, the show. And where like the big thing on that was we kind of, I don't know, half jokingly but half seriously got angry saying that Shopgun was robbed, because in the end, I.M is fantastic in that group, and he fits great, and he's a great member of that group, and he's fantastic. But like when he was brought in the middle of that show, very obviously is kind of like a way to push out Shopgun, to kind of like put him out. It got us a bit riled up. We could see the machinations. We didn't appreciate the booking decisions on that show. But I think it ended up being for the better. I.M was a better fit for Monsta X, the boy group, and the group. Where they were able to see something and cultivate something in Shopgun, by letting him go and create on his own and cultivate on his own and kind of create his own art and his own music, and just be able to mature separately as a independent, like not independent, as a solo artist. So like I could see now, you see like, okay, this was the long game. Like, okay, this is what works for Monsta X. You have something with you that we can let grow into a solo artist that can shine on his own. So you see where Starship like maybe made that decision based on his best interest in heart. So we can forgive them. At least I can. And then ended up with a really cool, really solid, really interesting track and really interesting kind of like music direction and visual direction and like artistic direction for Shotgun. And I'm looking forward to how he goes going forward.
Yeah, because like a lot of those first few tracks that he put out, very much like right after the like, okay, you're not going to be in Monster X, but I think they kind of also agreed that they saw something in him, but it was still very kind of, I think the tone of the time, which was like kind of the braggadocious hip hop, like K-poppy boy. But like, I love this place that we've gotten to where Korean hip hop has grown, where you can have something like this, right? Which is definitely very emotionally speaking. There's very strong visualization in here, even though it maybe not plays to a lot of its visualization. There's a lot of strong visualization here. And I love that more stuff like that is starting to exist. Just like it took us a long time to get there in hip hop in America too, because we had to live through the gangster rap era where if you weren't hood, you weren't rap music, and now we're in this era where people can kind of be whatever. I think we're almost living through that renaissance again, where everybody kind of, to a certain extent, had to be a mumble rapper, which then led to the renaissance of lyricists getting pushed to the forefront. So I love the ebb and flow of hip hop because of that. I might not always like it at the moment or where it's at the moment, but like I do love that. And then so I love that something like this has been allowed to exist, and it seems like a really good direction. And I don't know if it could be forced, but it doesn't seem like it. But I hope it's not, because I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it.
There's never been a better time to be into music, or especially hip hop. I also appreciate that. I think looking up the lyrics, I think there's a Finn and Jake reference in there. So it's like just name drops Finn and Jake, which is really cool. Yeah. My tracks, I'm just, I have a couple girl group tracks. It's because I'm me. That's just my gimmick. So a couple of tracks. So new ITZY. Of course, it's kind of crazy to think that you stop and think. You kind of like have those moments where you stop and think, is like, oh yeah, JYP debuted a new girl group recently, and they're killing it. As far as like how much how much their debut track was part of their like the lexicon around in different parts of like Korean entertainment. Like they get dance covers everywhere. If some like entertainer or actor is like, well, I can dance, so like, all right, you can do a dance, and sometimes a lot of times they'll do a dance to Dala Dala, which is really cool. It's that much part of the lexicon. And so ITZY is back with their second track, their follow-up track, ITZY, with their, I think they're the second mini, or maybe the first mini album for this finally. ITZY, the ITZY is a really cool track. It's actually really cool. It's catchy. It's fun. It has like this like fun personality to it. The video is fun. It's very like confident cutesy, not like childish cutesy, but just more like confident, high energy cuteness. And I think that works for them. I think that works for like the personality of the group that they're going for. It's sung well. I think the hook is really fun. I think it's just another solid track. Yeah.
I think you showed me this one a while, like maybe a couple weeks ago. And I definitely did I kind of enjoy it so far. Like I enjoy the sound of it. I think it's definitely like a fun track. I don't know. I always go for kind of like the not so bubblegum but kind of bubblegummy stuff. So it's always, I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah,
that's all I can really say. It's fun.
Yeah, and the performance of it is really good, and the dances are really good. There's just, I think the neck snap move in the middle of it is just fantastic. Plus, like paired with like the camera work on it, I think works really well. And yeah, ITZY kind of continuing to build their own kind of like identity, which is really cool. Looking to see them grow early. But yeah, speaking of, this is another kind of follow up to a debut. I'm pretty sure this is the second track from this group. Everglow is a group that debuted recently with a track that I've been enjoying. That's kind of been in. I don't know if I brought it on the show, but it's definitely been on kind of like the various random draw playlists of mine on Spotify. Bon Chocolat, which was really solid. This is the follow up to that. Adios. I like this track. I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound rude, and it probably is. But I the way I would describe this track is if Kill This Love was good. Because I think it's gonna be definitely compared to Blackpink's Kill This Love. For very good real reasons. Very understandable reasons. But I think this does that formula a lot better. It has the big room feel of like it's like Kill This Love mixed with a Tiara Sugar Free. The drop is a lot more substantial. It feels like a more solid instrumental than Kill This Love was. The kind of like melody of it is a lot more like engaging. And I think it's just a solid track. I would hate for this to get caught up in those comparisons in a negative way, because I think this song is a really solid track that stands out on its own. What do you think, Kath?
No, like I definitely heard that like thing, and I did think of it, but like I like the up and down of this, and I think you're right. Like I wouldn't go as far as to say like the Blackpink song is bad, but like I definitely like feel that I feel the vibe in this one a little bit better because it hits that low better. So when you hit that peak, it's a roller coaster, right? Like you dip and then you come up, and I think it's done really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really solid track, and I'm looking forward to, again, with this group, I'm looking forward to already with a couple of really solid tracks under the belt. I'm looking forward to kind of like seeing them grow, seeing what else they do with their sound, seeing what their team do with their sound, which is really cool. All right. This is a follow. So this is somebody who hasn't just debuted. Definitely hasn't just debuted, but it's another track from Tiffany Young, my girl Tiffany. I knew as a someone, I had to take the opportunity to talk about this track, of course. Tiffany coming back with a new track. Well, basically, it was like 2 weeks ago, or actually almost 3 weeks ago, especially by the time this gets posted. But this came out a couple weeks ago with a new track, Magnetic Moon. Kind of on the heels, kind of like put it out ahead of her upcoming tour, which unfortunately does not come to South Florida. But you should check out when it comes, because I imagine it should be fun shows. The song is nice. It's definitely very dramatic modern pop. Like this is not an unheard of sound, but then again, anything, nothing even related to K-pop really is. But it's well done. It's well done. Her voice seems to match it well. She seems to put on a pretty solid performance for this style of music, and it works well. She's building a really nice catalog of like engageable music. I don't know. I don't know. There's not much else to say other than that. Like, I think it's solid. It feels like it fits right in with what modern pop music, and especially in the dramatic sense. And she
like
puts at least a little of herself
it hits
in
that.
it.
Yeah, it hits that like kind of bigger than life feel a little bit, and I like that. Like it does have a lot of like elements of it that reminds me of like Madonna or something for some reason, like
probably by design.
Yeah, or God damn, I can't think of her name. Shakira. There's like a lot of elements of this that remind me of like them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it works well for her. I'm looking forward to, again, I've been excited to kind of see what she's built for herself. Now being an independent, or now being on her own away from SM. Kind of looking to kind of craft her sound, especially as like working basically as an American artist first. Even as she kind of makes excursions back, she still works as an American artist first, which is interesting, kind of building her career here. So I'm looking forward to more from Tiffany, because I can't help but support. I'm a Soan through and through. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more. But yeah, that's it for what's new. Now we transition over to our headlines as I hiccup. So join us on the flip side. Yeah. Too much garlic bread. Ugh. A nice chicken piccata for dinner tonight. I had garlic bread. Just could kick up the gases. We're here to talk about headlines, talk about some topical topics in the world of East Asian pop culture. Just a couple of things we're gonna dive into. So right off the top, of course, like I've been doing for repeatedly every time, kind of like, I think BTS has become our new YG from the early days. Where we're just, of course we're going to talk about them. But BTS, a new BTS headline. But BTS taking extended period of rest and relaxation for first time since 2013 debut. This is really cool news, really good news for anybody that's a fan of BTS. I think just if you kind of really care about like their well-being. But basically, Big Hit announcing that all the boys from BTS are just basically going to take an extended break post, after they were done with their tours, done with their most recent comeback, done winning awards, or not done winning awards. I imagine they'll win many more awards even while they're on break. But at least kind of like taking time away to just not do anything but like at most personal projects, or just mostly just go on vacation, be by themselves, even kind of like adding a little note if like if you come across them randomly while they're out there, just be considerate that they're on vacation, they're not on the clock. This is really nice to hear. This is really good to hear. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, there's not many thoughts to have. It's just it's well deserved, right? They've been putting in work. Like they worked hard enough to turn us around on them, which I mean, I have grown to kind of appreciate that work ethic rather than the. But I always am cautious of the slave work ethic that K-pop tends to have.
Yeah.
Where they present it as like, oh man, these people are working really hard because they want to. I like to think, and I would hope to think, that a lot of the work that has been done up until this point was a lot of it, was BTS. So I then it does make me happy that they put in this grind because they wanted to put in this grind, and now they're deciding, hey, we're far enough ahead in this race for what we're going for that we're going to take a little break.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's all about, right? It's a grind that if you really, really want it, if you're really going for it, you kind of just keep going, right? Like,
yeah. And it's well deserved. It also comes at a smart time for a big hit, because obviously with that recent merger or acquisition of Source Music, and they just recently acquired Superb Game Company, which is like a music game company. So they're in the middle of making big business movements, and planning and managing new debuts, possibly debuting a girl group, things like that. Now they can focus all their resources on those things. Let them, at a point where they would have, like, maybe even a company would have kind of handed the reins to the group. They instead handed the reins to the group to just say, actually just put down the reins and just chill. While we've, this is your time. It's also a smart time because, give them a time to be away that doesn't involve them going to the military. So they give them some rest time now. Because not but maybe a couple years from now, we might start having to have those discussions about, maybe Jin and Suga, being the eldest ones, having to, make the decision of having to go to the military. So,
yeah.
And then that's their phase.
But maybe, but see, then that's the scary part where I start to get conspiracy, and it's like, is this just a test to see how the fans handle no BTS for a little bit, so that they know if when that happens, if they can be like, cool, but let's get the military service done and out of the way. And we already have the research data that says, we can still survive this bump of no BTS.
Or if they decide, oh no, we need to keep some, we need to keep some and not send all. Because they can make that decision because there's like with all groups, there's a range of ages. I'm looking forward to them getting some rest.
That's why when I become an evil corporation and have a boy band, they're just gonna all be the same age. You get it done all at once.
Yeah, 2-year gap at most. 2-year gap, and then you're back.
Mm-hmm. But I'll have them working so hard before that I'll have it's a big. Have even know they're gone.
Yeah, that back catalog. It's like you'll have that Machiavelli Tupac-esque back catalog. So they could die and you'll be set for years.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving forward. Good luck to BTS. You deserve it. Fighting. All right. Yeah. So crazy things are happening in China. We're not going to get into the politics of Hong Kong, the Hong Kong protests and pro-democracy. But we're going to touch on them. Stories. We're going to touch on them, but we're going to focus on how it's affecting.
So let's lay a very, very, very brief groundwork.
Yes.
There are the people, right? The actual Chinese people, and especially a lot of young people.
People of Hong Kong.
And it's spreading into parts of China as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is clustered in Hong Kong. There are really, really big deep dives over a lot of what is going on and what is happening, and the encroaching Chinese government into Hong Kong, which has been independent for a very long time and is very rapidly coming up on a state of going back under Chinese control. Okay, so that's your layer of groundwork. And then there are the people, especially like Petey said, the people of Hong Kong. Boom, you're going to be tested. You're going to be fucking graded on this. Pay attention. Take your notes. And then there are the governments. There's the Chinese government and the Hong Kong government. A lot of what we're going to talk about has also kind of been quietly tested. If you like kind of Trevor Noah or Stephen Colbert, you'll hear a lot of this stuff, how music and the entertainment industry is kind of laying the groundwork of the people versus the government in a lot of these regions, especially in like places like Taiwan and stuff like this. There's been a lot of uproar through music and through rappers and other entertainment people against the government in representation of the people. So now when we come to China and Hong Kong.
You get to like the fact that China is very much enforcing the one China policy. They're saying we're already one country. If you don't think that, you're wrong. We're already one country. We already control all of you. We let you kind of like, manage yourself just because we let you. But we already control all of you. And we kind of like having these little moments of, in particular, we're going to talk about K-pop idols who are of Chinese descent. In particular, one of the first ones was Lay of EXO. If you want to believe that. He canceled his contract with Samsung due to them not adhering to the one China policy. They also had issues with somebody else who had like, I think it was like a clothing brand. I forget. But we're over a piece of clothing that caused some issues. But kind of like creating a statement. Specifically, they made this statement. Recently in China, foreign companies have been coming under scrutiny over the way they describe China and its territories. This comes amid heightened tensions between China and Hong Kong due to mass unrest, concerns over about China's perceived attempts to increase influence in Hong Kong. And then I think their statement is in here. Let me get this. Through self-examination and serious communication with all of our endorsed high-end brands, among all the brands that Mr. Shang Jijin has endorsed, Samsung's Electronics Global official website currently still lacks definition of country and region. Its behavior of obscuring the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country has seriously hurt the national sentiments of our Chinese compatriots, which we resolutely cannot tolerate. We welcome all partners who adhere to the One China principle and reject all groups or organizations that have any ambiguous positions and attitudes towards China's sovereignty and integrity. Here, Mr. Zhangji Yixin announced the official termination of contract with Samsung mobile phone brand, hereby declared. His studio, August 13th, 2018. It's fun. It's funny how they say sovereignty, even though they're the ones attacking another country's sovereignty. But that's how spin works. Yeah, and then that gets followed up with several Chinese K-pop idols, including Lay himself. But added to that, Kyokyung I forget which. Cosmic Girls or no Kyokyung. Shenxiao Xuanyi Meiki of Cosmic Girls, Victoria, our girl of FX, Jackson of GOT7, June of 17, the 8 and June of 17, Lucas, Win and Yang, Henry and Xiaoyun, Xiaolu, Fei, Fei, of course, formerly of Miss A, Yanan of Pentagon, and Yuki of G-Idol, all kind of like putting out basically the same message of like the Chinese flag, basically saying like, like Hong Kong is one. I support, like some of us kind of going ahead like throwing support for the Hong Kong police. Hong Kong is part of China forever, things like that. It's one of those things where it's very much seems like a concerted, colluded, predetermined.
It's collusion.
Predetermined, pre-planned, like move in one's kind of like we'll follow that up, but basically kind of having this full scale effort to kind of all these celebrities all in one, kind of like shouting this pro-government message, which you can understand, like, and I'll have it on this Asian Junkie article, but you can definitely they'll say it, they said it here, but I definitely understand. You can understand like how it can happen, especially kind of like just with they're parroting nationalist propaganda. You can understand how it can happen. They probably have people that they have to protect and their careers that they have protect. But doesn't mean we can all be happy about it. This is still
it's not still even essentially that, right? It's like to keep that status that you have, and this might be speaking more volume than I should, but like the Chinese government takes a lot more reach with its celebrity than probably sometimes more places do, namely America, where kind of our celebrities are kind of essentially free to have their own thoughts. People might poo-poo them and say, hey, so that our project does well, let's, maybe keep quiet on your thoughts on this, that, and the other. Whereas like it's probably more, and this is an assumption, it probably more goes, hey, keep your mouth shut or else or else you have no career, or else we restrict your ability to move between countries, or we take whatever precautions we deem necessary,
or you go bye-bye,
which makes those a very scary thing. And like I said, the biggest factor in this is in other places like Taiwan and Thailand and things like that, where the musicians have decided to rally more on the side of the people, to kind of speak for the people through their celebrity or through their music or through whatever. I think China sees that and is kind of using that the same way here in America we would use lobbyists, or kind of like something I was watching today talk about how in more small rural areas, sending somebody door to door is still kind of the best way to control the funnel, right? Because initially maybe people see something and think, oh yeah, no, that is the great thing. But you send a guy to their door that looks like them and that they trust and tells them like, no, that thing is evil and you don't want that. And they go, oh my God, this man who looks like me and talks like me and sounds like me told me that this thing that seems like it would be good for everyone is actually evil. So when you have that, and when you have something as powerful as idols and entertainers saying, the one China thing is good for us, right? These young people who follow them and are influenced by them go, wait, no, everybody's saying it's bad, but my favorite rapper or my favorite K-pop idol or my favorite actor is saying that it's good for me. It's a strong ploy. It's a really strong ploy. And
I think I'm with also Asian Junkie. That definitely the celebs are not the victims here. They're definitely making a choice. You understand where the choice it comes from, but it still involves like doing nationalist propaganda. And also it adds to the funny of. Not funny, but this part's kind of fun. Chinese rappers banding together to support the Hong Kong police. Which is that last article. Kind of like it is fun. You kind of should check out this article because it does bring out the hilarious like point of like, wow, if there's anything that is truly hip hop is supporting the government and police. Like, it is fantastic.
But
like
it seems very anti-hip hop when these people are at the forefront of your hip hop community and young people are influenced by them. It's a strong play. You know what I mean? Like to the observer of the genre and the understanding of the genre, yes, it would seem silly. But when you're that deep in and you've lived under a government who's controlled everything you've seen up until this point, to the point where you think this thing represents you, this thing speaks out against that, and this thing then tells you, like, no, everything is good. You know what I mean? Like, it's more scary to me. You know what I mean? Because, like, you're using a really, really strong thing against young, influenceable people.
Yeah.
That will probably work because you saw how it turned the tide against other governments. So you're smart enough to get out ahead of it, which I always say is the greatest move you can make. If you control the funnel, if you control the way in which the story is told, you can always come out the hero. And unfortunately, the bad guys can do that sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes not a good thing.
History is written by the winners, not by the good guys. And yeah, it's scary. I hoping for the best for everybody fighting for their freedom in Hong Kong. It's been kind of like crazy watching the like footage and things coming out of this protest. And very smart, very concentrated, very, very coordinated protests. There's a lot of these young people they know what they're doing, and it's kind of very fascinating, very cool. There's been a lot of really cool things, like seeing how they're making specific efforts to like protect journalists, because they know a camera is a lot more dangerous of a weapon than a gun in this effort. They know that they want eyes and cameras, as many cameras on what's happening as they can have, to make sure that things that are happening are being seen. Like, because like the moment China's able to, or whoever wants it, is able to cut off the imagery and cut off the making sure that you don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind is a cliche for a reason. So they're making sure people are seeing it, and these efforts. It's scary, but it's maybe a little hopeful.
This is also going to sound highly rude, but like I love and respect it so much, right? Because it is literally what protesting should be, right? It is you fighting tooth and nail for your right? And like you said, they are going about it by using the tools at their advantage so advantageously. Like you said, using journalists who are there to just document, right? Whether you look good or bad, you want those people there to document, because you want more people to look at what is happening. Not, you know what I mean? Like you don't necessarily care about the rhetoric. They're not necessarily trying to control the rhetoric. They just want people to see what is happening. And
because they know that benefits them, just the plain vision.
And the amount of effort that the young people have gone through to circumvent, like, oh, now this app blocks this. Okay, so now we'll use this one for this and that one for that. And like the genius of it, as opposed to like are woke babies here who just, spend their 200 characters on Twitter and say like, oh man, this is terrible. And I'm like, cool, what are you going to do about it? No, that is what I did about it. I said it's terrible on Twitter. And I'm like, well, then you don't actually give a fuck. Like, and I'm going to unfollow you now. Like, I don't know. I'm so perturbed now by like woke babies on Twitter after like seeing these young people in Hong Kong and in China and in parts of China who are just like really, really going at like, no, I want my rights. I've seen what you've done to my parents and my uncles, and I'm not gonna let that happen to me.
Yeah. So go seek out the in-depth coverage that's out there, especially on so many of the things that are happening in Hong Kong, and throughout China. So because it's a scary time out there. But they need eyeballs on that stuff.
Yeah, but definitely, show your support. Inform other people. Like I might be mad at you woke babies, but I need you to spend your 280 characters and fucking like inform other people of the things going on. So that's why I'm so glad like PD put these things in here, because I don't know, I'm very for that what they're doing.
Yeah. So good luck, everyone. All right. So kind of like one more little headline. This is a nice little like story coming out of a show called Idol School. So there was a contestant on the show Idol School. It's this show that ultimately, it was a little while back, but it ultimately formed Promise 9, which is a group that I've enjoyed as entertainers. Their songs have kind of been hit or miss, but they have a fun YouTube channel and they're funny and they're kind of ridiculous, and I like that. I always like that in a girl group when they're essentially they're variety stars in the making is what I'm saying. But Idol School had, it was one of those elimination survival shows, and one of the contestants, Sung Hae-in, was on that show, for a time before she left, kind of for personal reasons. Ultimately, it was those reasons were revealed to be that she was struggling with anorexia, and she was kind of trying to push through this opportunity, like ignoring that, but it just became too much, and she kind of left the show for her own mental health and her own physical health. But one of the things that has come to light is that she publicly came out as bisexual on her Instagram, even kind of sharing some pictures, with her current girlfriend. Like being very open, being very honest, answering fans and follower questions about it, and even kind of opening up her reactions. Of course, reactions have been mixed, but a lot of support has been coming her way, and it's exciting. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for someone, especially even if it's somebody tangentially connected to the entertainment industry, or even maybe not a big name, but anytime somebody has the guts to be able to speak to their truth is really cool. What were your thoughts on this?
So this is something that's kind of been happening more and more here in America, which is always weirdly surprising to me, given our history. It seems like we have to constantly go through these revolutions of evolution, but these things always do seem like fairly new concepts to other regions, and I think the more and more it starts to happen in other places, the more it gives people the confidence and ability to then talk about it, right? Because having something like Instagram and being able to follow people who are very open about talking about these things, you feel like you I think you start to feel that sense of why am I so like behind in being open about how I feel about certain things. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that that's a good thing. I think anytime anything like this happens, it's a good thing. And I kind of love something she said where like along the lines of like, you know, like this is just who I am and I'm kind of sharing it and I'm not necessarily trying to force it on anyone, nor do I want to, you know, specifically offend anyone's individual values. Like, you know, I'm not trying to make anyone understand or like homosexuality. I'm just kind of sharing who I am, which I think sometimes some people, as much as I love you out there, tend to miss, because there's a difference between going, this is who I am, and this is who I am. Like,
yeah.
And there's a difference, and I think the way she's going about it is good, right? Because it's informative. It's, this is who I am. This is part of me as a person. There, you know what I mean? Like, as opposed to just shouting it and expecting people to not want to ask questions, right? She's very open to people asking questions and answering questions and positing information for those who want it. Because I always say the biggest way to combat hate is through education, right? Like, don't combat hate with hate. Don't you know, attack people. But if you go, this is who I am, and people go, well, why? Just that's because that's how I've been. That's how I've always been. I don't really know. You know, like to just educate people on who you are as an individual is the most amazing thing you can done. I've gotten really philosophical this episode, but like I've been mad about a lot of things lately that people do that I don't think they do right, and educating people on your individuality is one of them. Just do that. Just educate people on your individuality.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yes. I'm just gonna be you, and if people ask questions, be understanding. And it's exciting. So, all the best to Sunghae, as you know, she continues her journey. I believe still trying to be a singer. I believe, but otherwise, just kind of living her life as an openly bi, person in the public, which is really cool. But yeah. That brings us to the end of another fantastic episode of Hallyujuku. Kaz, well, what's going on? Mm-hmm. What's going on in your world? What's new?
New for me is I definitely want everybody to go check out Sports Odds and Ends. We got some new stuff coming up there. We've been talking about the ever encroaching football season, the ever dying sport of baseball, and then the ebb and flow of the life support system that is esports.
Yes. I know that you guys talked about. Well, I got to check out the episode, but I know that you guys mentioned the mercy rule, like Aaron Boone bringing up the mercy rule, which
I called it the Mercury rule for some reason, but yeah, the mercy rule, which we kind of like tried to fall into a like, where does it fit? Where should it go? What does it mean? My quick hot take, and you can listen to the show for the other guy's hot take, is somewhere between the 5th and 7th inning. Yes. If the game is 12-2, the umpire needs to come up to you in the 5th inning and be like, look, shit's bad. And from the looks of it, it's only going to continue to get bad. I'm going to give you the carte blanche now. Do you want to keep fighting? I'm giving you this. This is like I want the 5th inning. Yeah, I want the 5th inning to now be the standing 10 count.
Yes. It's like checking on, like, you good to go? You good to go? You look in their eyes. And
where are you right now?
You look in their eyes, and like they may say they're okay, but you look in their eyes, you see they're glassy, and they can't make eye contact, and you're like, and then you just call it. Just for their own good.
You just put in your outfielder to pitch, right? You know that's what just happened, right? Do you understand that that's what you just did? No? You don't it's over. Call it.
Ring the bell. And also, yes, I'm saying we institute a bell. Just like we call it a knockout. Just ring the bell and you go ding, 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 and then they call the game right there. As a Marlins fan, I can appreciate the hope for a mercy rule.
You know what another good mercy rule is, and this would speak to Marlins fans specifically. Once more than 50 people start to leave, I think then you should just start to call the game. It's like, oh, and there it is. There's the 50th person, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patronage today. You can still get some hot dogs and beer while you are here.
The one problem I think for Marlins fans is that there would have to be 50 people in the stadium in the first place for that.
This is true.
Yeah. That's the problem. Okay. But yeah, go check out Sports Odds and Ends at sportsoddsandsends.com. He's at he's at Kaz. He's at King Kaz.
He's at Hallyujuku. That's my new Twitter handle.
Marlins, get me all shook.
Well, didn't I tell you? Don't you know?
He's at Keycast. I'm at PD Rave. The show is at Hallyujuku. Hallyujuku.com.
Fantasy football season.
Yes. Hallyujuku.com. Kpoppodcast.com is an easy way to share. Rebelli.net for this and other shows, including Record Breakers. We got a nice batch of episodes to come. With our friend Snowshoe, Ash. We got a nice batch of episodes with Ash. One should already be up and more to come. But yeah, you can find us wherever you find podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts. Until next time, hasta los huevos.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.